Loaded talk, loaded grok. All right, we're going to talk the White House. Everybody's freaking out. Donald Trump has blown up the White House like an Independence Day. Charlie hit the Jewish space laser. Bring it in, Charlie. Show him what you did. Show him what you did. You got to trigger it. Get your sound to trigger it. He can't see you. There we go. So that happened, and then everything got destroyed. So everybody's freaking out about this White House. Of course, everybody knows at this point, Donald Trump is taking the East Wing, which, if you want to get... So I've looked into this because I haven't cared. And so I was like, let's see why people are freaking out. I go, well, the White House is old. That is pretty historical. It's kind of crazy to tear it down. East Wing is not the White House. It's the East Wing. The West Wing, not the White House. It's the West Wing. So you have the White House. It was there for a while. People started building things because they go, hey, we need more space. Teddy Roosevelt started building some structure in 1902 for the East Wing. Okay? FDR, he went ham. He was like, East Wing? I need a swimming pool. So he put in a swimming pool and all sorts of crud for him at taxpayers' expense during the Great Depression. People needed work. He goes, well, you can build me a pool because I need to swim. It helps with my floppy legs. So FDR did most of kind of the version of the East Wing that we know today, and it's been spruced up over the years. It's like there's been a couple other runs on it. So the East Wing is where the First Lady's office is for all the important business of the First Lady. It's also where the calligraphy room is, and I think it's where the crafts room is, and the main visitor entrance center. But so, the important work of calligraphy, and there's also Nixon. Who was it? Somebody put a movie theater in there. Nixon put in a bowling alley. I think he did that in the East Wing. But yeah, so different times people. It might have been FDR.
Sensible.
Yeah. FDR made it put the movie theater in too. He's like, I need a movie theater and I need a swimming pool, and all you mooks gonna pay for it. So it's had changes over time, is what I'm saying. So Trump was like, hey, we don't have a place to have state dinners. Like if you're gonna have a big gathering of leaders from other countries, and you need a ballroom. He has hotels. Hotels sometimes are also known as convention centers. And he knows that to host groups, you need a big room to host them in, right? That's growing pain of St. Pete. We only had like 2 hotels that counted as like convention centers. And so it's a big thing. Tampa's got an actual convention center. So we don't have that as a country. When people come in town, we have to go to other places. When Reagan was president, we didn't even have matching service wear, like the China. We didn't have matching China. And like Nancy Reagan got a bunch of grief because she bought matching China for the White House. And they said, how are you doing this? Like people are poor and starving and you're buying plates, But as the leader of the country, we didn't have plate sets for guests. And we couldn't even have that many guests. And we still just didn't have matching plates. I mean, come on, people. So anyway. Trump's like, let's build a big old ballroom. It can host dignitaries for these things where we have to rent out spaces elsewhere. We got to go to these different places around D.C., and they're nice and they're beautiful and all that stuff. The reason we have to go there is because we are incapable of hosting them at the White House, on the White House grounds. Okay. And so at first he goes, it's going to be a separate building, but it's going to be real close. And they go, okay, that's cool. And then, we looked into it. We got to connect it. So the picture, when you picture the White House, there tends to be 2 views you see. There's like the squared off side with the columns, and then there's the version where it's got the round front with the columns. That's the White House. That's not touched at all. Off of the White House, there are 2 long, ugly hallways. Well, they're actually probably not all that ugly. Long hallways, lots of windows. They look at the various gardens because God knows we need lots of gardens at the White House. I think the one probably heading out to the West Wing is the one that Trump just turned into the picture auto pen house thing without any grass. So I think he turned that garden into the place that doesn't have any grass, because that sounds like something Trump would do. The Rose Garden, which Jackie O made famous, Melania got that all fixed up. So there's a bunch of roses in the garden on the other side. You look out the window, look how pretty it is. And so if you go east, you get to bowl and do calligraphy and solve all the problems you can solve by meeting with the First Lady. And then West Wing is where you run the country. So, in order to do this addition, they're tearing down a wall. And people are freaking out. People are pretending to freak out to score political points. That's what's happening right now. Anybody that's upset, they're not. No one cares. No one's upset. It's not that historical. The original 1902 structure isn't really there. The FDR is closer. All right, so the 40s, like 42, 44, whatever it is, the 40s. So this is, the walls he's tearing down are, they're younger than the building that my shop is located in. So, cry me a river. So it's not historical. No one cares. But it's something, and it's Trump. And I did see a good take. I think it's in one of these articles, so I'll wait to give credit where credit's due. But Gavin Newsom, he posted this thing on Twitter, and he's still being just obnoxious and horrible. Donald Trump doesn't want you to see this picture. He's literally destroying the website. Oh, I guess we have to see the picture. Here's the picture. It's they tore down a lot. They tore down a lot of the east wing. So they're tearing it down, or a chunk of it, and they're going to build a huge ballroom. So that's what's happening. People are upset. It's just construction. Guess what the president's allowed to do? That. You know what the process is for this?
I don't even want to know.
Well, it's just like any other process. You got to get a permit. Well, there's two steps. Who's paying for it? So if it's taxpayers, Congress has to authorize it. Okay, so that's the first step. Trump goes, well, I'm going to raise money, and I also got this money from a Google lawsuit, for real. He's getting YouTube lawsuit money in it. He's like, so we'll just pay for it ourselves. And I price tax $300 million at this point. It went from 200 and something to the final thing was 300.
This is 300 million?
Yeah, it's costing $300 million.
What else does it do?
I mean, it's the White House. I'm sure it's got some cool stuff.
Dang.
I bet you there's some security stuff in there. But it's also really, like, when you look at the drawings, I think they're going to bring in a lot of artisans because they're trying to capture the period a lot. So there's columns, there's like, it's not just a rectangle, like the place is going to look pretty baller. I just heard a story. I guess the last time he was president, he fixed all the doorknobs. The White House has been going to hell slowly, and they kind of fix it up in spurts. But it's like anything else. Old buildings are tough because there's constantly something. And typically, you're president. You have things you're doing, and building maintenance sucks. And if it's not something you're used to, you go, I don't know, take care of it. And then someone goes, all right, I guess I don't know, just make it stop leaking. But that's kind of where it ends. They fix the doorknob. Oh, okay. So I guess Trump took molds of like the original doorknobs from like the 1800s. And then he had them cast in like bronze or whatever with the presidential seal in the middle. So all the doorknobs got replaced. I think he paid for those out of pocket too. And so all the doorknobs got replaced with these sort of, they look like period doorknobs, but with the presidential seal on them. And you go, well, that's pretty nice. So that kind of detail, that's what he's doing with this. It's going to have...
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to look classic. It's going to look similar to the architectural style of the White House. Of the older era, but be new construction, and then also I'm sure security out the wazoo, and demo in DC when you have to. Oh, but here's the thing. Okay, so you don't got to pay for it. You don't need Congress to pay for it, right? So you just need a permit. Who signs the permit? President of the United States of America.
That's funny.
Yeah. So when you're a guy who builds hotels and stuff, he goes, "Wait, I signed the permit?" He goes, "All right."
Somebody give me my marker.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, give me my Sharpie. I'll sign this thing right now. All right. So Gavin Newsom's freaking out. And Trump's mocking him. Trump said, I guess this is peak Gavin Newsom, right? So Trump's spending $300 million of him and his buddy's money to fix up the White House. Gavin Newsom goes, what you just saw. So Trump responds, your Capitol renovation is costing California taxpayers $1.1 billion, 4 times more than the privately funded White House ballroom, which costs taxpayers nothing. Newsom's in the middle of a $1.1 billion restoration of the California Capitol with taxpayer monies as he's complaining about this White House thing. At the end of the day, okay. Here, let me just show these pictures real quick. This is from the White House, but these are, I don't know if you just, well, I guess no one's just listening to this segment, but, what am I doing? Full screen website. All right. So this was during Truman. So Harry Truman's renovation. So this was, look, this is the actual White House. Look how they like tore this thing down, building these basements. They're pouring a better foundation. It's saving it. But
connection to the underground tunnels. Yep.
There is a crazy tunnel system in the White House without conspiracies involved. There just really is. But you see all this stuff down to steel beams, or they're adding steel beams. So they destroyed this. This is April 25th, 1950. So my dad's not even alive for a couple more months. But so these things happen. The president is allowed to do it. Everyone's clutching the pearls like it means something, and this guy let me see. This one, I don't even know who this guy is, but he says Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing. Taft made the executive office oval. FDR added the entire East Wing and included an indoor pool for himself. Truman gutted the entire White House. Nixon added a bowling alley. Obama added a basketball court. Trump is building a ballroom. I want to see.
I think the Obamas also redid the dining room, too.
Yeah, could have.
I think so. I think they funded it themselves.
I doubt that part. They weren't 100 millionaires till after they left. They were not.
Well, they said they did.
I'll have to look into that. I don't know. You know what Hillary Clinton did, because she's been talking about this. She's like, oh, my God, there. Let me see if I can find it. I think it might be in the same thing. Oh, come on.
I'm talking about this is your house? Or
yeah, so Hillary Clinton said, it's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton stole all the furniture and silverware from the White House when they left. $190,000 worth of furniture and silverware they stole, and then they took the W's off of every keyboard before George W. Bush came in. They vandalized every keyboard, so they had to get brand new keyboards for all their computers just to be petty, and they stole all the furniture, and they stole silverware and crap, After the Biden years, you remember I was telling you about those doorknobs? Some of those are missing. People took those as souvenirs to remember the good times they had. Let me see. I got to find whoever said that. Whatever. Okay, basically somebody, I can't find it. Somebody made the point that they're not actually mad about this extension on the East Wing of the White House. Melania's, her quarters, dang, she really wanted to be in that East Wing. But they said they're not mad that he's building this. They're not mad that he tore down a wall. They're mad that there's going to be a permanent ballroom for a very long time, built by Donald Trump, paid for by Donald Trump and friends, but it's going to be paid for, built by President Donald Trump, and they're never going to be able to pretend that he was not president. They have to watch it every day, every time a bunch of leaders from the world come in to gather for something, and we host them for a dinner. It's going to be in the Trump Ballroom. At some point, somebody's probably going to name it the Trump Ballroom. He's going to name it the Trump Ballroom, I'm sure. And but if he doesn't, at some point somebody will, even if it's 50 years in the future, 100 years in the future. People are, well, this was built by President Trump. Like, oh, we'll name it that. Whatever, however many years pass. So this whole thing is everyone's crying because he's making a permanent stamp on the White House, and worst of all, it's probably going to be pretty good.